And there we go.
Come
So
on. What the hell? Look at that. That's crazy.
I
Three
know.
hours of work turned into a minute.
Yeah, that's it. It's done. Here I
Run a
have.
full performance on it. Get out
I
of
know.
here. Hey everybody. So Tib and I here are starting a new company and we figured it'd be cool for us to share what we're learning along the way so that everybody can build with us. So we're going to be showing you what we build in our product, but the eventual goal is you can use this to create your own products, managing your agencies or for your company. And so today we're going to be covering the foundation of what are skills and how you can get set up on your first skill for people who don't know about skills. And so that's what we're going to be sharing today. How does that sound, Thibaut?
That sounds awesome. Let's cook, Rob.
Let's do it. Let's cook. All right. So the first thing is, what are skills exactly? So I figure the best way to explain what are skills is to show how Claude's number one skill works. So if you have a Claude account, you'll notice that if you press this slash, you'll have a few skills. You'll have the skill creator and the add files. And skill creator here, you can tell it to create any skill. So I did that before because it can take a bit of time. And I was like, skill creator, create a skill to tell funny jokes. It asks a bit of question, understand what we're trying to do, and then goes ahead.
It's a very important skill. It's a very important skill to have. Very important skill to create.
I know. I wish I had this myself. As a person, if I come here and I'm like, joke teller, tell me a joke, and you'll run that skill. Okay. And this is the skill that we have. It's very, very long and just it's a prompt that gives instructions as to things we can do. Right. Okay. So that's just a skill. It's a pre-saved prompt for your Claude account. And then again, we show it in the context of Claude. We also have the same concept in outside a product we're building. And a lot of these AI products have skills as well. Skills are just basically long form instructions that you can run again and again and again. Okay. So I signed up for a meditation app. It sends me 3 push notifications a day to remind me to be present. Okay, I guess funny, maybe. All right. That's high level skill. But now we're going to be focusing on what's the skill for marketing. And Thibaut,
Right.
I know you've been working hard in this and thinking about a lot of skills we could create ourselves in our product, share with our users and all of that. What is your favorite skill? And can you run it for us so we see what it does? And then would love to kind of understand how you build it, both the prompt itself, but also the integrations, because you still need to work with the ad account.
Absolutely. So, I mean, there's a few people can check, but it's essentially the classics of any performance marketer. Am I on track? What's running? Should I be budget shifter? Bleeders and winners, fatigue detector, copy rotation. All these things that, one you and I were talking about is a skill for basically doing QA before you launch a campaign, because, you want to make sure you've got your ETMs right. In Meta, for instance, if you don't have them when you launch, then you're cooked after. So you need to make sure it's a pre-flight thing. Renaming your assets, like basically people upload stuff in the campaign with sometimes, names that don't fit. Anyway, these are the things that, the toolbox for any performance marketer to just save you a ton of time.
Love this. Do you have something on bulk importing as well? Have you been able to turn that into a skill?
It's not a skill yet, but we will add it. How about that, Rob? I'll add it tomorrow.
Let's do it. Because I know we have the feature in outside, but I was wondering if you had been able to turn that into a skill.
Yeah, we could.
Cool. So basically, you can import skills in Claude. It's pretty easy. I feel like it's also open source, so people can interact with your repo. And we are going to be doing a video on each one of these skills.
Yep.
First, this video is more of an intro on Skills 101. And then we're going to be doing one on each specific skills, how we build it, why we think it's important and interesting. So if you're interested in that, I guess look at our channel and look at the other videos. Can you just show us for this very specific skill, so the fatigue detector, let's skip with that, how people listening to us today can get that and use that into there. And we'll stay on Claude, but then again, Gemini will be kind of the same thing. So the first thing you need to connect, and that's very important, you need to connect your Meta account to Claude. So that's one thing. How do you do that? And then the second thing is how do you import that skill into Claude?
So let me show you how we did this in Claude with AdSide. Now, to be clear, you can do this with many other third-party providers. Here, I mean, Rob and I are building AdSide, so it makes sense for us to show it here. But if you want to use Pipeboard or like there's many other players in the space, if there's one that you're already using or that you've heard, fine. But for the purpose of this video here, we're going to be using our own MCP that we've built.
And just to explain, yeah, oddly, there is no official Meta MCP. You have to use those third parties like AdSide or like Pipeboard, and there's a bunch. And you can just like Google or ask Claude to find the best Meta MCP. And here we're going to be showing ours. And basically, when you create an MCP, it's very complex. You have to wrap the API so you kind of use the existing connectors, but you can do more stuff on top of that. So there is some intelligence you have to pass here. And for our MCP, we did a lot of stuff around the data as well, just being able to fetch the data and store the data so it's faster. So look at all these different MCPs as products you have to use to connect to Meta eventually.
Absolutely. And so here, Rob, essentially you go into the integrations option here in AdSide on my organization, and there's an API key section. And if I go to API key, you can see essentially here we're blurring the API key, but if you're there, obviously it won't be blurred. But it's the same format for all the MCPs. This is this kind of JSON structure with the command and then the URL of the MCP server. So I'm just going to copy that with this little thing. And then after that, you need to go to Claude. And when you're in Claude, you will go to the setting, and then you're going to go to developer. When you go to developer, you're going to be able to click on edit config and configure that. I know it's a little, advanced settings, but it's super simple. We're just going to copy paste something and it's just going to work. So here you can see I already have my Meta Ads server, MCP server running. So to add something here, you'll click edit config and it's going to open Claude file, basically Claude folder, and you're going to have a JSON file. When you click on that JSON file, it will open the text editor of your choice. I'm going to increase the size. And so in this file, you will just paste that. You can ask Claude to even write that JSON for you. If you have issues with the brackets and stuff, just tell Claude, hey, this is what my MCP server is. Give me the JSON for Claude desktop JSON. Copy paste that, boom, save it. And then what you need to do once it's saved, you are going to exit Claude, relaunch it. And after Claude is launched again, you will immediately see if you have an error. It should work just fine. Then if you're going to go to plus and you go to connectors, and you're going to see Meta Ads enabled. So that's your MCP now. If you have that little toggle blue and you don't have any errors showing up as a pop-up, as a dialog, you're ready to cook.
And to get this code that you showed before, you have to go to AdSide.ai, create an account. Again, running MCPs are actually expensive to run. So again, because we're doing all that data stuff and all of that. But there is a 7-day free trial, we'll add a 30-day extended free trial, a coupon for a 30-day extended free trial in the video description as well. So you have kind of a month and a week to try this out. And you can look again at there is tons of alternatives. You can just Google Meta Ads MCP. But first you need to kind of create an account, get that information, get that snippet of code, import that snippet of code into Claude, then run it, close and open it again, and it will work. And you can do the same thing in Gemini, I believe, and also Code and all the other AI tools, experiences that you can use. Once you do this, it gives you access to the Meta your meta accounts
Exactly.
pretty powerful. And you can
Yep.
run a lot of stuff. You can do it manually. You can ask questions to it manually. So that's already a big improvement if you're not using any MCP.
Yep.
But then you can use the skill. So that's the like last part. Can you show us how to import the fatigue detector or any other skill in
Yep.
your GitHub repo? And today we're not going to be spending time on what's exactly in the skills. We'll do that in future videos so that people can build the muscle in building their own skills. But just already like importing a skill, how does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, if you go to our repo or if you go to any place online where you find skills, you can click on the download button. So here in GitHub, you just download the file on your drive. If it's just something you found on the internet, you just copy paste, put it in a text editor, save it as a even .skill. Claude supports .skill or .md, and then you go to Claude and you're going to go to customize. You can go to skills, and here you have a little plus button, and you can say browse skills or create skill. And if you go to create, you have an upload option. So now I'm gonna, drag and drop. Here I have bleeders and fatigue. I have, a bunch of them here that I've loaded, and I've loaded the fatigue detector, and the fatigue detector is here, and you can see the content. For the curious one, you can see, how do we detect some fatigue? It's pretty simple, and you can see here, basically all of that intelligence is written into the skill so that the AI can now turn itself into a performance marketer for you to understand which ads are getting fatigued.
Amazing. Let's go. All right. So that's the first video on how to create a skill. What the heck is a skill? How to connect your Claude to your Meta account using an MCP. So we're also touched on MCPs. And yeah, that's it for today. For future videos, we're going to be focusing on each individual skills that you spend a lot of time building, Thibaut, and try to extract that information and convey that to the AI. So thanks a lot, Thib. Super interesting. Thanks for taking the time to share that. And
Of course.
to the next one then.
Yeah, see you next time. Thanks, everyone.